Hello, are you struggling with large Excel datasets? Do you want to analyze data faster and make smarter decisions? In this video, I will show you how to master pivot tables, one of the most powerful tools in Excel, whether you're a beginner or looking for advanced tips. This tutorial will walk you through everything from creating first pivot table to performing advanced data analysis. By the end, you will be able to summarize, filter, and visualize data like pro. So if you are ready to boost your Excel skill, hit the like button, subscribe, share this video, and then let's get started. What is pivot table? Pivot table is a powerful feature in Microsoft Excel that allows us to summarize, analyze, and visualize large data sets quickly and efficiently. It helps users to transform raw data into meaningful insights without using complex formulas or functions. Now, what are the key features of pivot tables? Number one, pivot table summarizes large data set quickly groups, count, average, or even give us the total sum. You can use it to calculate your count average so quickly. Number two, it allows the drag and drop functionality, where you just need to drop the data, the column headers, rearrange it quickly without any hitches. And that is what we see is easily rearrange data set to see different perspectives. Next is automatic data grouping. It groups your date automatically into days, weeks, months, even quarter. Also, it can categorize data. It can also put it in numerical ranges. That is one of the key features of pivot table that can help us draw a lot of insight. Next is data filtering and sorting. You can sort your data alphabetically, you can sort it numerically. At the same time, you can filter using the pivot table. That becomes very easy and that becomes very straight for us. That's applying filters to view specific insights, to get insight on a specific field in the data set. All right, finally, dynamic update. This is part of the pivot table that I appreciate much. Whenever a new data arrives in the data set, in the source data, automatically it can update by using the refresh option in the pivot table. And these are the key features of pivot table. Now let's head over to Excel and begin to see some use cases and create our pivot table and begin to apply all these functionalities in the pivot table. Now let's quickly dive in. And ladies and gentlemen, here we are in our Microsoft Excel. Before us is the data set we are going to be using in this tutorial. Is a data set of over 60,000 rows of data, which one can consider to be a large data set. Like we said, pivot table is used to summarize, analyze, and draw insight from a large data set. And to proceed with this tutorial, the first step one is to create our first pivot table. And to do that, let's go to Insert, get to Pivot Table. Once you click on it, Excel automatically dictates the range of data sets and then the name of the table sheet, which is sales. And then it asks us whether we want it in the new worksheet or in an existing worksheet. I prefer it in a new worksheet. And then if we want to add the data to a data model, not yet. For this, we are limiting this tutorial only to the pivot table. And then we say OK. Now once that is done, here we are in our pivot table. And this is the pivot table fields. These are where you see the fields. Some of us, when you open yours, you might see it in a different format. And let me show us the format your own pivot table might be coming up with. Here you come to this setting. On this setting, this is the format your pivot table might be coming up with. This is the default format, but I like setting up my pivot table in this format. This is another format of one section. At the same time, this is also another format. We have this. We have other formats like this, but I work with this. So this is a way you can change the different format, the different view that you want your pivot table fields to show. And here is the drag field. Between areas here, you drag and you put in any of these boxes here. Like we said, pivot table has drop carry and drop options. Just you carry it, you drop it in this particular option. Here you have the filter, you have the rows. When you want your data to be in a row form, you want it to be in the column form. This is the field area where you put in your calculated measures, fields that you want to calculate, measures you want to calculate to get insight from. We put it here. Rows and columns are mostly the column headers that we want to get insight from, that we put them in rows or we put them in columns. Data like numerical data and some data we want to get measures from, we put it in fields, and then filter is where we use to get insight from a particular data or a particular information in the data set. And that is for the field. Here is we have the pivot table name. You can change it. We can call it sales, whatever we want to call the table. With pivot table, we can call it sales. Here we can insert slicers, we can fetch data, at the same time do a lot of things which we are going to be looking at as we progress in this video. And ladies and gentlemen, as it is, we have created our first pivot table. Now moving on to step 2, the next is to customize our pivot table, that is customizing pivot table. And to do that, we need to put values in these boxes and then see the value, see how pivot table will immediately analyze it for us. Now let's say, for example, our manager wants to know how much we made from each product based on their color or based on the product category. We can say, okay, for the product category, we click, hold it and drag it over to rows. We have our product categories automatically. It applies a unique function in Excel. If you haven't watched my Excel videos on complete Excel course for beginners, go to our YouTube channel, click on that link, watch, you know the function that we refer to as unique function, which we can use to get this in our data set. But automatically, pivot table dictates only the unique values in the over 60,000 data set. And what do our manager want us to get? Our manager want to know the total amount generated per category of our products. So we go over to the amount, we click it, and we put it here in values. That becomes our measures. Here we have this particular amount for accessories, this for bikes, this for clothing. And from here we can see we are making more money, much more money in bikes than accessories and clothing. Also, we can format this, select, go to home, come over to this place, and then let's go over to numbers, and we can use the 1000 separators. Let's disable decimals, and then we say okay. We have this, we have here, and I think our data has some decimal values. Let's add the 2 back, and then we see beautiful, it has some decimal. And here we can quickly read our data. We have this over 700,000. Then bikes is highest, followed by accessories, and then we have this clothing. Now our managers now said no, we want to check this based on product color, not product category. We can move this, click and drag it out, and then with this is showing us the total amount generated from our data set, from our sales. This is the total sales we made. However, we are looking at product color. We hit our product color and then drag it to the rows, and we will see the insight we have as regards to our rows. Now, our manager now said we don't want to know the sum of our amount. We want to know how many products color black we sold, blue, multi, and the rest. To do that, we can head over to our sum of amount, click on this drop down arrow here, go to value, field setting, and here we select count. If our manager is looking for average, we can select average, and we can also select as others or variance standard deviation. Here we are going to be looking at count, and we say okay. Here we see that these are the values we have, and NA is the highest number of sales based on products color sold. Now that's where we draw some insights. Now let's say our manager is looking at this. He says, okay, we want to only know, I want you to give me the sales of, let's say, blue, red, and white. Here we can come here, deselect this, come to that filter, deselect, select blue, select red, and then we select white. That we can filter, and we say, okay, that we have applied some filtering, filtered some values within our data set. And that way we have V. We can also say we sort by A to Z. Already sorted before, blue, red, and white. All right, now let's say, for example, to clear the formatting, we want to know that our manager wants to know how much generated by our customers. We want to know how much generated by each customer, so as to know the customer to reward, to give some bonuses. We can come here, click and remove go over to customer name, click, and we put inside this place. Automatically, we can view this, what we have based on our customers and the number of stuff they bought from us. However, our manager is not asking us number of times they bought or number of items they bought. No, our manager wants to know how much do we make or did we generate from each of the customers. So we can come back to this and then go to our value field. We select some, and here we say, okay, we have stuff like this. However, from the data sets, our manager said, I want you to get me the top 15 customers so that we can reward them, the top 15 customers from the sum of amount, total amount generated from our customers. We want to reward only top 15 performing customers. How do we do that? Also come to the field button here, click on it. We go to the value filter. On the value filter, we come over to this, which is the top 10. And then this dialog box will pop up. We come over to this, let's delete this and make it 15. And then we say, okay, here we have the top 15 customers based on performance. And here we can also say, let's say our manager wants to say, okay, from this we want to know those that gave us sales from 10,000 and above. I want to do that. You can highlight this, go to conditional formatting, and then we can come to highlight sales rules. We have greater than, we have less than, but our manager is saying those that we made, those that we generated from, we made 10,000 and above. I think all of them here we have, okay, let's say from 12,000 above. Those that make 12,000 above, or those that we make 12,000 above, let's put it that way. So we go to greater than. What we will use is we go to more sales rules. In more sales rules, we have this greater than, but what we are looking for is this greater than or equals to. And here we will type in our 12,000. We want to know those that we generated sales 12,000 and above. Okay, all right. And we can come here to format. Let's go to field and then let's select this color and we say, let's select this green. Let's come to font and let's make the font white. Awesome. And then we say okay. And we say okay. Automatically we begin to see from our data set conditional formatting where we can see the customers that we made from 12,000 and above. So these two did not qualify for our bonus we are going to be giving, though they are part of the top 15 customers, but they don't qualify for our bonuses. And that is in the aspect of filtering and sorting of our data. That another thing we will be looking at is to group these data sets. Let's head back to what we have and then let's clear filter. We have stuff such as this. Now next is to group our data. Let's say we want to group our data, grouping the data by dates, by numbers and stuff like that. We can remove, let's come here and remove the customer name and put the customer ID. Now putting the customer ID, we have these numbers, and let me state this: for you to group, you group only numbers. You don't group alphabet, you don't group text. So let's see how we can group this, because we have this as a large number which is not really going to give us the insight. We are not going to get some insight as what we have. We can put them in range by coming over to right click and go over to group. In this group, the pivot table already dictates the starting point and the end point, which is 11,000, and the ending is 29,483. And also it gives us the range to which the range we want to group it by. We want it to be by 1,000. Like we can also say group by 1,005, and then we click on OK. Now we have that immediately groups the customer ID within 11,000 to 12,499, and then down to the final aspect. And that is how we group. Also, we can also group by date. How do we do that? Let's remove the customer's name and we put date. This is the amount generated each of the year, and that we see automatically Excel groups it into 2021, 2011, 2012, 13, 14. This is the total amount generated by 2011, total amount generated by 2012, and so on and so forth. If we want to see the others in 2012, it has the third quarter and fourth quarter. Once you see the months, and so on and so forth. If we come to this, we see the first quarter, second quarter, fourth quarter, third quarter, and fourth quarter. So Excel automatically groups it into here, and that is what we have. If we don't want to see it in quarters, we can come here, click and drag the quarter out. And then you can also, if we don't want to get the dates, come here, all you see is only the months, this and that. We can drag it out. If we don't want the year, we remove the year. However, if we come here, we drag this out, what we only have is what we have, the total amount in 2011, 2012, 13, 14. Let's say our manager requests that we do that, and that is what we have for grouping. That is what we have for grouping. Now let's get over to the next. We can also insert slicers. We can also insert timeline to our data set. Let's look at, we have our product by year, and let's also check, okay, we want to see by category how much we made in 2011 per product category. We can take the product category and put it right here in this column. And here we are. We have that in 2011 we only make sales on bike, and 2012 we only make sales on bike. 2013 then we have accessories. That might tell us that maybe in 2013 that is when we start making that is when we start selling accessories and clothing. Here we have this insert: 2011 only bikes, 2012 only bikes, then 2013, 2014, then we have accessories and clothing. And that is what we have. And let's say our customer wants to filter this or want to know what we have made by each of the states as regards to the years and as regards to the product categories. Then we take our state here and we put it right in the filter option. Here we have all the states. Here we have all the states. And let's say, for example, we want to know what happened in Arizona. We click on it and then we say, okay, now in Arizona, we only make sales in 2013, and that is on accessories and on bikes. That is what we have. We can also come and say, let's check what happens in California. And we say, okay, the same in California, we make sales from 2011 down to 2014. We can say that California is one of our biggest markets, And with this, we can draw certain insights as regards to our data set. And let's say, for example, as well, our manager wants to see what happens in Arizona, what happens in California, and what happens in England, Florida, and Georgia. What can we do? We come over to here and select multiple selection. We select Georgia, we select Florida, we select England, and then we go over to this, and then we select Arizona, and we say, okay, here we begin to see what happens and put what we made from these states as regards to our product category and the year 2011 to 2014. And that is what we have in our data set. As well, we can insert slicers and let's head over to pivot table and then go over to insert slicer. What aspect do we want to do? Let's say we want it by country. We can select by states rather. We can also select filter or check by, let's say, subcategories. We can also look at the product subcategories and we say, okay, here we have our two slicers, and here these subcategories, we can have our slicer here. Now, having done that, we can change the color. We can come here, we can make this color, we can come to select this color, and then for this one we can make it this color. Beautiful. Now here is our slicers. We can check by bottles and cages. We see what we have based on California, England, and Arizona, what we select here. Now, for example, let me remove this from filter, and at the same time our slicer can also do the work of the filter as well. Here we can come to slicer and we clear the filter, and here we have that we have made sales in 2013 and 2014. At the same time, we can also clear our filter from this particular data set. Now let's say, for example, our manager said we are not looking at the years. Again, we want to know the product by color. we can remove this, come over to product color, and then we put it back to this place. Awesome. Now, having done that, let's move our slicer over to this place. Now, having done that, we can now see that this is what we have as regards to the product color as compared to its category, product category, and then product color together with the total amount. And if we want to now see, we want to get the value field, and we come over to this place, we select count. This is what we have. The total number of accessories that is black is 2085, the ones that is bikes, and here is the grand total. And let's say we want to insert a timeline to know the time the product was sold, to know when at a particular time how much we made. We can also come to pivot analyze and then go to timeline, and we have that by date. We select dates, and here we have our timeline. We can position our timeline here, and then have to stuff like this. Awesome. Now, having done that, that is to show that we have from January to dates. You can see from 2011 we can move this down, move it down. So that is our timeline. If we want to know what happens in March, we select there is no sales in March. We want to come over here. Let's deselect this. Let's look at July. Of course, now we have sales only on bikes. If we go to August, the same changes. We begin to see the changes, and that is on the timeline. We insert this, and we have stuff such as this. Having done that, the next is pivot table calculations, inserting some calculated fields. And to do that, let's head over to the pivot table, and let's say, for example, our manager said he wants to know just the product color and then the profit generated from each of the product color or product category. We can come over to this. Let's remove the product. Let's take the product category over to this place, and then we remove the color, and here we have our product category. However, our manager is asking us for the profit generated from each of the category. We take it back to our sum, and then we say okay. To now calculate the products, each of the product category profits generated from each of the product category, we head over to pivot table analyze. We come over to this option and then go to calculated field. Here, what field do we want? We are giving it a name profit. We give it the name profit. Now, how do we calculate our profit? Of course, we know that profit is the amount sold minus the cost price. So we come over to this, double click here, the amount we show, you put minus, and then come over to this place, and then cost, and we say add. Now already we have added our profit, and there we have our profit in our pivot table fields, and also we begin to see the profit generated for each of the accessories. We have this as regards to profit, and that is we have added a calculated field to our pivot table. If we head over to our data set, we notice that that is in our pivot table. Our data set is still as it is because this is just a table, it's not the pivot table. Let's head back to where we are, and then let's take, for example, our managers want to see the data, want us to visualize this data, and then get us to get insight, put it in visuals, and what have you. How do we do that? We just have to convert this pivot table into a pivot chart, and to do that, we head over to pivot table analyze, and here we go over to pivot chart, and immediately it automatically dictates this. For this type of data set, pie chart will be very good for the data set because it has only 3 variables. So we have to click on pie chart. From here, we begin to see that the bikes has a numerous advantage over other ones, and that is what it shows. If we come to bar chart, you see stuff like this. However, we can go over to our bar chart and we select this, or we say okay, and here is our pivot chart as regards to this data set. Also, we can come to these fields and then right click, go to say hide all field buttons, we can come over and select hide all field buttons. Here we can remove this, or we go over to this and select different chart design or different chart color as our choice, and then we can select this, and here we go. Also in this chart we can go over to design, and then we come to the quick layer. We can select any of these, we can select any of these, we can select any of these depending on our choice. Any of these, I think I prefer this. All right, we have our chart such as this. Let's move this up a bit, and then let's bring. Now we can head over to our view, and let's remove grid lines, and we have stuff like this, looking as if we have just put up a dashboard or visualizations and stuff like that. And that is how we can work with our data set or with our chart. Also, let's say our manager comes and says, no, we don't want the pie chart, we don't want it in pie chart, we want it in bar chart. We can come over to this, go to visualize, come over to design rather, and then come to change chart type. We can come over to bar chart, and here we select this. All right, here we have our chart in this format. When you look at it, you see that it's something very, very small. Now the next we do, we can come over and remove the amount, and then we have only the profit. This, we know that from here, bytes is what gives us the highest number of profit. And let's say, for example, later the manager said, no, what we want here is by product color. We can come over to this, put it here, and then remove this. We have it by product color, and then we have our results here. This is by product color. We can head over to design, and then come to layout. We check any of this layout. We can look at this, any of this layout. We can check this. I think I'm okay with this. I can select it, come over to this place, I can delete it, and then come over to total. I can remove this as well, so as to give my chart kind of breathing space. And then we have stuff such as this in our data set. This is our chart. You can change your chart design by, you can go to format chart area, and then you can add the gradient, you can add solid color, you can add pattern, you can add picture or the texture. If you have any picture in your clipboard or this texture, you can, on the texture, you can select any of the texture. You can select anyone as regards to your choice. Any of these texture you can select as your choice. You can select solid, you can select no fill. You have stuff like this. You can select automatic to get back to the color that it was before, and then stuff you and much more you can do. You can bring this up like this, and that is in our pivot table customizing, and also working with your chart, and then with the pivot table. And that is what we have as regards to pivot table and the pivot chart. Congratulations, you have learned how to make use of pivot table effectively, efficiently in Microsoft Excel. Feel free to explore, feel free to work with pivot table, analyze, get insight from a large volume data set, and then get your pivot charts, insert your slicers, and then begin your journey into being a pro using Excel to analyze data to get insight. If you found this video helpful, please do well to like this video, share it, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on any of our future uploads. We upload video on this channel on weekly basis. Every Fridays you get to see videos on this channel. Till then, keep exploring, keep analyzing data, and keep working with pivot table. Thank you, and see you in our next video.